Lesson: Transparency in Negotiations. Transparency in negotiations serves as a cornerstone of ethical considerations in contract law. Its importance is underscored by its potential to foster trust, facilitate better decision-making, and minimize misunderstandings that could lead to contractual disputes. Negotiations, by their very nature, involve a complex interplay of interests, strategies, and communications. In the realm of contract law, where negotiations can dictate the success or failure of legal agreements, understanding and implementing transparency can significantly enhance both process and outcomes. The concept of transparency in negotiations involves openness, clarity, and honesty. It is about sharing pertinent information, intentions, and rationales behind decisions to the extent that it aids mutual understanding without compromising strategic interests. Transparency does not imply laying bare all cards on the table, but rather ensuring that the information shared is truthful, relevant, and facilitates a clearer understanding of each party's position. This approach can help in building a reputation for integrity, which is invaluable in long-term business relationships. One practical framework for enhancing transparency in negotiations is the interest-based relational approach. This framework encourages negotiators to focus on interests rather than positions, promoting the sharing of underlying motivations rather than just the demands themselves. By doing so, it creates an environment where parties can collaboratively explore solutions that satisfy mutual interests. For instance, instead of a supplier and buyer focusing solely on price, they might discuss delivery schedules, payment terms, or quality standards, details that might offer a more comprehensive solution to both parties' needs. Implementing such a framework requires skilled facilitation and a commitment to open communication, which can lead to more sustainable agreements. Moreover, the use of transparency tools like negotiation checklists can be beneficial. These checklists can include items such as the identification of non-negotiable elements, potential trade-offs, and a list of shared objectives. They serve to prepare negotiators by ensuring that all critical points are addressed and that there is a structured approach to the negotiation process. A study by Thompson suggests that negotiators who use structured preparation tools tend to achieve better outcomes, as they are more likely to focus on integrative solutions rather than distributive bargaining. Transparency also plays a pivotal role in the digital age, where technology facilitates instant access to information. Online platforms and digital communication tools can enhance transparency by allowing real-time updates and document sharing. However, they also pose challenges, such as the risk of information overload or the potential for misinterpretation of digital communication. Negotiators must therefore be adept at managing digital tools to ensure they enhance rather than hinder transparency. For example, using collaborative platforms like Google Workspace or Microsoft Teams can ensure that all parties have access to the same information, thus reducing the likelihood of miscommunication. In practice, the principle of transparency must be balanced with the need to protect sensitive information. This balance can be managed through the use of confidentiality agreements or non-disclosure agreements, which can delineate what information can be shared and what must remain confidential. Such agreements are essential in protecting proprietary information while still allowing for a level of openness necessary for effective negotiation. A case in point is the 2016 negotiation between Apple and Qualcomm, where despite the contentious nature of the discussions, both parties maintained a level of transparency that eventually led to a settlement, showcasing the effectiveness of managing transparency with confidentiality. Negotiators can also enhance transparency through the practice of active listening and feedback. Active listening involves not only hearing, but also understanding and reflecting on what the other party is communicating. It facilitates transparency by ensuring that all parties feel heard and understood, which can reduce resistance and foster a collaborative atmosphere. Providing feedback, on the other hand, helps clarify misunderstandings and aligns expectations. This practice is supported by research indicating that active listening is positively correlated with negotiation effectiveness and satisfaction. Furthermore, cultural considerations can influence the degree and manner of transparency in negotiations. Different cultures have varying norms and expectations regarding openness and information sharing. For instance, in high-context cultures, such as those in Japan or the Middle East, much of the communication is implicit, and transparency might be expressed through indirect means. Conversely, in low-context cultures, like the United States or Germany, explicit and direct communication is often valued. Understanding these cultural nuances is critical for negotiators to effectively employ transparency across diverse settings. It is noteworthy that transparency in negotiations is not without its challenges. One significant challenge is the risk of strategic manipulation, where one party might exploit openness for competitive advantage. This potential pitfall underscores the importance of strategic transparency, where negotiators carefully consider the timing and extent of information disclosure. Strategic transparency involves sharing enough information to build trust and facilitate negotiation without revealing vulnerabilities that could be exploited. This approach requires a deep understanding of the negotiation context and the motivations of the other party. Finally, transparency can be bolstered through the development of trust-building measures. Trust is both a prerequisite and a result of transparent negotiations. Establishing trust can be achieved through consistent communication, reliability in fulfilling commitments, and demonstrating competence and integrity. Trust building can be further enhanced by setting clear expectations and delivering on promises, which reinforces the credibility and reliability of the negotiators involved. In conclusion, transparency in negotiations is an essential component of ethical contract law, offering a pathway to more effective and sustainable agreements. The integration of frameworks like the IBR approach, the use of negotiation checklists, and the strategic application of digital tools can significantly enhance transparency. Balancing openness with confidentiality, practicing active listening, and understanding cultural contexts are also crucial elements in this process. While challenges exist, particularly in terms of strategic manipulation, the overall benefits of transparency, such as trust building and improved negotiation outcomes, underscore its value. As professionals in the field of contract law, the commitment to transparency not only elevates the negotiation process, but also upholds the ethical standards that are fundamental to the practice.